Tom and Ollie's Big Kids Club. Tom and Ollie's Big Kids Club. Tom and Ollie's Big Kids Club. Tom and Ollie's Big Kids Club.
It's all that shit stuff.
Hello and welcome back to Tom and Ollie's Big Kids Club. You are.
I'm Tom.
I'm Ollie. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Yeah. I've got a bad arm.
Yeah. Well, you say good. Last week we talked about you getting back on the skateboard, as it were.
Yeah. I ended up in A&E on that. Well, a couple of nights afterwards.
What were you doing?
I tried to 50-50 a curb, and I slid backwards and just landed. Like I haven't got a cast on, but I've got to go back to see if I need one. Landed on my my elbow here. And I've definitely fractured it. So, yeah. It's a bit painful. But I did drive today. Probably shouldn't admit that. But yeah. I needed to go to my mum and say, it was like, I can do it one-handed. I'll be all right.
You silly bastard.
I know, yeah. Like, there was nothing worse than when I walked into, like, the A&E. And they're like, what have you done? And I was like, I've hurt my arm. And they're like, how did you do it? I was like, skateboarding, and I've got like grey hairs, and I'm fucking 34. And then she was just looking at me going, really? I was like, yeah, really. She's like, what did your wife say? And I was just like, she laughed. She wasn't laughing when she's now out to get herself to work, but yeah.
Did they confuse you with Sinead O'Connor?
Fuck's sake. Again, Brad
Every week
Pitt.
now, I'm going to try and think.
No,
I'm going to try and think of another shaved head.
I'm going to keep shaving it as well. No, they thought I was Brad Pitt's brother, Sess.
Sess Pitt. I like it.
But yeah, what about yourself, man? What have you been up to?
I'm still doing my 5k runs every morning. The other day, though, I couldn't move my legs. Caroline had to like massage like my legs, but like proper beat the shit out of my legs because I just couldn't even move
Honestly, that bad?
Yeah, getting old, man. And I'm probably not doing it correctly.
Yeah.
Like I reckon if you watch me running around the field by my house, I'm like a complete.
I've just got a vision of you running around the field with those two horses you've got, like going after you.
Well, the one did follow me the other day and bit my arm.
Oh, that's similar.
But yeah, some sad news though. Lottie, who's very old, she's going to be put down on Monday.
Oh, I'm sorry,
man.
So,
it's all right, man. We've got the weekend with her, but we've only just found out about 10 minutes ago, actually. So, bit gutted. But she's old. She's about 30, and that's quite old for a horse.
30.
Now. But, the problem with the horse though, if they sit down and they can't get up, then it's pretty bad. So she's getting to that point now, and she's getting to the point where she won't even sit down because she knows she's gonna have difficulty getting back up.
Oh, bless her.
So because her back leg, like a horse's legs, I don't know if you've seen them, they're quite. That's where they carry all their weight because they're an animal that stands on all fours, and her back legs have like stooped so low that she's like shrunk in height because. No. And it's just really bad. And to be honest, it's about quality of life and stuff like that. And you could probably force her to carry on, but is it the humane thing to do? Do you know what I mean? It's
like I don't know. We're not going to get into a deep discussion about this, but sometimes I think that with humans. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes not. I think for an animal, because they're in pain, you can see they're in pain. They can't speak to you, and like you can do the humane thing of going right. Okay, we're gonna end this for you now, but yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I do think that should be an option. Like when people go to Sweden and things like that to be able to do themselves in. I think that should be a legal thing. But there we go. But we won't get into that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, I mean, like Terry Pratchett was a big advocate for that, wasn't he? Going back to the geek culture.
Oh, totally, man. Yeah. And what was it Terry Pratchett had? Let's go even deeper into dark stuff.
He had Alzheimer's.
It was Alzheimer's, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty bad. But the crazy thing was, he was still writing while he, was suffering with it. So, God, and because they always I don't know. I mean, they don't know the cause for Alzheimer's, do they? But
but apparently
some people always thought it was an inactive mind that kind of causes it, but you can't get anybody who was more proactive than Terry Pratchett, who was constantly writing books, creating worlds and stuff like that. So it just shows that it's...
What was the film, though? Because I thought... Sorry, I'm going to have to excuse myself because the painkillers they've got me on are quite funny. But...
what have they got you on?
It's only cocodamol, but I'm on I've banged 2 of those. And
they make you proper tired.
Yeah, I'm not with it at all. But I was going to say to you, this is going to be very convoluted for not a very good punchline or anything to be said.
Okay.
I thought they'd found the cure for Alzheimer's in that film, the one about the sharks.
About the sharks? What was...
Deep Blue Sea, wasn't it?
Deep Blue Sea.
Do you remember?
Yeah. The director's commentary for that is hilarious because Samuel L. Jackson's in that film and he gets eaten about halfway through. And when he gets eaten, Samuel L. Jackson's in the commentary and he's like, well, that's me done, so I'm going to leave now. So he just leaves the director's commentary because he's dead.
Honestly, that's fucking genius.
Yes, he just fucks off.
But he's been in some proper crackers, hasn't he? So he's been on the Snakes on a Plane one.
Well, they kind of thought that because it went viral, didn't it? Because it was just called Snakes on a Plane, so it went kind of huge on the internet. And then they were threatening to change the name, and then Sam Jackson was like, "No, you're not fucking changing it." And then I think they made it more violent, didn't they? They refilmed stuff.
They gave the snakes oozes and stuff, didn't they?
They should have done that. Just hover into the side of them. That would have been amazing. I might do that. Like how in E.T. they got rid of the guns and they replaced them with walkie-talkies.
Oh, amazing! Yeah.
We'll just put knives and guns and...
I think they should have had at least one snake that was smoking.
What, using its end of its tail as the... Or just like a... when they... have you ever seen the animations where they get chickens or whatever or ducks and they animate arms on them?
Oh, yeah, brilliant.
They should just do that, a little stick arm on it or something like that.
Let's pitch this. We'll find someone to pitch it.
Sounds good.
That's a good film, actually. Doing a callback to one of our episodes. That would have been a good toy line and also a cartoon.
What, Snakes on a Plane?
Yeah.
I guess so. Well, I guess you could have it on Snakes on a Boat.
Snakes on a boat.
Snakes on a coach.
Snakes on a coach. No, but it'd be like Carry On film.
And then the second one is on a... Snakes on a double decker.
What, a chocolate bar? Just
Yeah.
See, this is turning out to be one of the best episodes ever. We were going to discuss this guy, but I don't want to do him any disservice.
Any injustice. I mean, I've got stuff here, but I think we could properly make a go of Mario.
Yeah, we should do.
I kind of want to replay the first 3. Well, not properly, because you have to be a mentalist to want to...
Doki Doki Panic.
Try and...
number 2.
Yeah, try and complete some of those. But at least want to kind of refresh my memory of them, because I'm more affair with, Mario 64.
I was going to say, I'm gutted, because I've never played that, but that seems to be everyone's go-to game when they speak about Mario. I've never played. I'd love to play it.
Yeah, because it's great. I think you can get it for on your emulators and stuff, but I think the N64 isn't great for emulation, I don't think.
Is it that and the GameCube was sealed, but now bossed? What was I going to say?
Yeah, the GameCube's meant to be hard to...
Because those were the two that I didn't have a Nintendo. I went over to PS1, I believe it was. But there was some... I used to go and play at my friend's house, Richard Broomhall, and he had an amazing game on the N64, which I think it was Wave Racer.
Yeah, it was good. That was Wave Racer.
And I just remember, because do you remember when you first saw those polygons, and they were in it, and the waves were actually waves, and it was just look at the graphics on this, man. Look at it. And it's
that game... I think that game actually still holds up. It's still good fun, that game.
Yeah, I'd love to play that game because I just remember loving it, and there were loads of it. It's very similar to that the spaceship game on the PS4. Oh God, do you know the one where you went round the loop to loops?
I don't know what that
Oh,
was. But I was like with my early video gaming career, whatever you want to call it. I was really shit. I had really bad games. So when I had my SNES, well, my Master System was my first console. I only had like 2 games for that. But when I had my SNES, I had Street Fighter 2, which is great. I had Mortal Kombat 3, but then I had a load of shit, like just games that were just shit because they were like movie tie-ins or something like that. And I didn't really have many friends that had a SNES who could be like, no, you should play Mario, you should play Zelda and stuff like that.
See, I never got into Zelda, and I wish someone had got me into it because I still to this day, like, I'd love to play Breath of the Wild on this new system.
Zelda is a game you would absolutely love. I don't understand why you don't play Zelda. I mean, like, it's a world that I think you'd.
I know, like, looking at it, like, I know it's my bag. I mean, I'm like into the Elder Scrolls and stuff like that.
It's different to that. It's a bit more closed. Breath of the Wild is quite open. Obviously, you can actually climb anywhere, swim anywhere. Like, you can do anywhere, go anywhere in that. There's no real storyline to Breath of the Wild, which is, I really like it, but it's, like I've said before, I like my handheld with video games. So I like to kind of know where my objective is, where I'm going, what I'm doing, and what I've got to do next. Or I've got a list of side quests and stuff like that. And yes, it does do things like that, but it's a lot more open-ended, and there's not really much of a story. You can actually start the game, you can put the game in and go straight to the end boss within the first 10 minutes and complete the game if you want.
What?
You've got to be really, really good to do it, but you can do it. So you can literally go to the end boss just holding a stick and kill the boss with a stick if you're that good. Because I think that's how the original Zelda was, that you could kind of do any dungeon in any order you wanted, or you could go straight to the boss if you wanted to. So they kind of wanted to do that, kind of really open it up, whereas other games you have to do this dungeon first to get this item before you can go and do this dungeon.
So that's
it, that item, blah,
bringing
blah.
that Bethesda thing back. That's why I love those games. Like, anything that's just, it's not. You were saying you like your handheld, but I don't just like ticking boxes. Do you know what I mean? I like a world to prowl around in.
Yeah, I like a nice.
Did I say prowl around in then? That sounded very ominous.
Prowl.
Look through people's windows.
That'd be a good game.
Prowler. That is a game, isn't it?
Yeah,
Prowler. It's got to be.
I think it is, actually.
Yeah. I watched some gameplay of Manhunt. Have you ever seen Manhunt 1 and 2 that got banned?
Yeah, well, yeah. It did come out in the end, and I'm sure Manhunt 2 was on the flipping Wii, I think.
You might be right, yeah.
Yeah, I think they came out. But I remember it was definitely one of those hot topic games that came out, and
yeah.
You know, it was on the naughty list.
So going back to Link, and it is Link, isn't it?
Well, really, he's whatever you want to call him. Because when you start the game up, you put the name in, so whatever you put, they'll call you that name. I mean, he's called Link because he's your link to the game.
Right. Okay, I didn't realise that.
So, but I mean, his name is Link. So,
yeah.
But really, he's called Link because he's your link to the game, and you call him whatever you want.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm going down this tangent. If we're not doing Mario, we're doing Link today. Link, what's it called?
Oh, God.
Breath of the Wild. So what?
Or Legend
of Zelda. What's the story?
Well, every game pretty much is in not a different timeline, but it's a different Link each game.
There's a lot of links.
There's a lot of links. There's some like side universe links as well and stuff like that. But I think maybe the first two games are the same Link, but then the Link from I think Link's Awakening, which is the Game Boy one, where you go into the big giant egg and all that kind of stuff. It's like a dream island, kind of like it's like an imaginary land you're in, basically. I think that's a different Link, and then you've got Link to the Past. Then you've got the Ocarina of Time is a different Link, but that Ocarina of Time is the same Link as Majora's Mask, I believe. But there's time travel involved.
So they're different characters. Like different.
Yeah, so it's different Link and it's a different Zelda, but they're all kind of like.
And what is Zelda?
They are related. They are related. They are related to each other in terms of like, it's like a. so he's always called the hero of time or something like that. So he's kind of like he's like an ancestor or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
And Zelda's the world.
No, Zelda's the princess who is the princess of the castle, basically. And it's just a typical...
SNES,
well, it started off as a typical just save the princess from the monster in the castle. But like kind of they've evolved Zelda now to be kind of a bit more proactive, and she's more like engaged in the game. So like in the new game...
You're holding a pterodactyl while you're talking to me, by the way.
I am. It's Alan Grant's pterodactyl, but he's got a leg missing.
Legless.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
No, so Zelda...
So they announced a new Zelda game at E3 last year, which is at the moment it's called Breath of the Wild 2. But they're saying it might be a co-op game because I think Zelda is now a playable character in the game.
Oh, nice.
So you can kind of play as each other, yeah. I mean... A lot of people don't like those games because it's kind of like cell shaded. It's a bit cartoony. Do you know what I mean? And like the new ones are definitely more like Studio Ghibli kind of thing. So
see, I really like the look of the new ones. I think they look awesome.
Oh, I love it. I think it's great. It sets it apart.
And have you've been in, because you've got a Wii, haven't you?
Yeah, I have
not
got
a Wii. Not a Wii. I've got all. What's the new one called?
Switch. Yeah, I've got a Switch.
How'd you find it? Would you recommend buying one?
For me, I play 2 games on it. That's it at the moment.
And wait,
I play it well. So I play Zelda. Like I don't play games as much as I used to. I don't know about you, but I get the guilt. So if I'm sitting there playing a game and like if Caroline's at work or whatever, and I've got some free time, I think, well, I could either work on one of my own films, or I can play video games. And working on my own films always wins over.
Yeah,
like the guilt takes over, and I just stop playing. So. Breath of the Wild, even though I bought a Switch I was there at midnight on launch date. I still haven't completed it. I've got Mario Odyssey, I haven't completed it. But it is a fantastic console.
Is there a Donkey Kong on there yet?
Yeah, you've got Donkey Kong Jungle Freeze, but it's a port of the Wii U game, but it's got extra levels and stuff like that. Oh, nice. It's a side scroller, but it's really good. They are good.
Because recently I've just got massively back into Donkey Kong, just the first game on the SNES Mini. And
those games, it's a shame
hard.
On the SNES Mini. It's a shame they didn't put all 3 on there.
It really is, really, because that first one, I forgot how many secrets are there as well.
I know.
Like I played a bit with my friend Adam. Popped round and we kept like 5 minutes apart, and we played some Donkey Kong. And like I got through, say, the first six levels. So you get past the guy who's he's like the travel agent. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
So got past him. But Adam replayed all those levels, and I'd forgotten like 3/4 of what you could do. So like he was just throwing barrels at walls, going under, and like collecting, like, you know, you can get like 3 rhinos or the 3 spearfish or whatever. Yeah. And I was just like, what are you doing? And when he did the underwater level, he did a bit I'd never seen in my life. It just, like, I love those games with like this. You do to a certain extent, but it's not like word of mouth. Do you know what I mean? Like when we were kids, you could just go on the internet and go, all the secrets of, I don't know.
Yeah, you had to kind of find them yourself or find out. I mean, they did do the magazines, and they'd have like a booklet with them or something like that.
NES Power, and is it NES Power?
Yeah,
Nintendo
like
Power.
There was Nintendo Power, or there was the official Nintendo. It was called NOM or something, the Nintendo official magazine or something. And they used to like, every time they mentioned PlayStation, they called it the phony grey station, or they'd call it. The Saturn became the sad turd.
What? And that's the official magazine?
Yeah, you know, because they had to like slag off the competition. It was either that one or the one of the third party ones. I guess you never played Donkey Kong 64, then, did you?
So
which was like
I think
that's the 4th game technically in that series because it's by Rare, and that was great because you had loads of characters in that. You had Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Trixie Kong.
I will remember the girl Kong.
Lanky Kong, and I think Lumpy Kong as well. There was like 5 of them you could play. And each of them had a different like ability. It's a bit like a Metroid, so they could each like unlock different areas in levels and stuff like that. And
Okay. Well,
But
the N64, like, obviously had GoldenEye as well.
yeah,
I'm just like, to not have had that console, because, like, I don't know if you were the same as me. Did you have N64 and PlayStation, or did you just have N64?
no, I had both because I had a gardening job from the age of 13 till I was about 17, 18. I at the weekend I'd go to several old people's houses and do their gardens.
Oh, nice,
and
man.
And so I was able to afford like my own PlayStation and get the games.
So I basically had the choice because I was too lazy to have a gardening job, and I went with the PlayStation because I thought it was more grown up in a sense. Do you know what I mean? Like it had like.
Well, I mean, they both had rad games. I mean, like Crash Bandicoot was amazing. Like that game now, like I got the reimagined one. Well, it's not like the updated one. And it's still fucking hard and solid, but it's still addictive and it looks great. And even if you look back at the old Donkey Kong on the original PlayStation, it looked great because instead of using polygons and stuff like that to detail the characters so it looked blurry and murky, I think they used like gradients and stuff. So like there's a great video on YouTube. It's like a series and I can't remember what it's called now. You may have seen it, but they cover Crash Bandicoot, Abe's Odyssey.
Oh, what a game.
Maybe Tony Hawk's. They cover loads of these like great PlayStation games and talk about how they made them and like how they kind of brought the power out of the PlayStation that the other developers didn't even know was there and stuff like that. It's quite interesting. I need to post them on the page.
You should do actually, man.
Really...
Also, for those who haven't seen it, and I'm going to be sharing it far and wide, Ollie has done a solo video of his toy collection, which I enjoyed today.
Yeah, it's my I'm doing like a Paul Simon or a Art Garfunkel. I'm doing like a solo project, or it's just me in my bedroom, like talking about my toys.
Love it.
It's a one-off though. I'll never do another one. I'm like, here is my Michelangelo action figure. Even when I was doing it, I was dying a little bit inside because I was thinking, I've gone one step too far now.
I thought you did well.
I was just, but did you watch it?
Yeah, of course I did.
Did you watch it in the bathtub or something?
I was going to say something really rude then, and I realised I'm recording. No, I watched it in the bath, yeah.
Well, what were you going to say? I wonder what you're going to say now.
I was like, look at that bloody Turtles figure. Ooh, that's what I was doing. But no, I thought that was good. I might do a similar thing and just do a walk around of my house and just show you various things.
Yeah, just like those weird things that are above your door. No, those like.
Oh, that's taxidermy.
Yeah, the taxidermy.
What I might do though is I'm going to do mine in the style of Cribs.
You should.
So I'll be in the bath. No, I'll get into the bath. Do you remember when she did that, J-Lo? Is it J-Lo?
Was she in the bath?
J-Lo?
I need to watch that one.
No, it's not J-Lo. Who is it?
I know Mariah Carey
Mariah
did
Carey.
one. And it's not
Mariah
actually.
Carey.
It's not her house.
That's
it's like it's just like a hired apartment or like a.
If you watch that one, she gets in the bath and she manages to take off her thing with like one hand, like a. Oh, it's really hard to explain. Just watch it. It's fucking hilarious. Like all of those. Because I did a day the other day just watching Cribs, and it's brilliant.
I know there's one with one of the guys from Good Charlotte, and he's like, "Here's my tiger," and I'm like, "You've got a tiger."
Good Charlotte
in
He's
your
got
garden.
a tiger.
Yeah, yeah. I'm assuming he probably hired it just for the.
I still think that's. I'm quite an animal. So not.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, but.
I mean, like, as much as we talked about Tiger King when it came out, because it was fascinating, still at the same time, it was horrible because it's animal cruelty at the end of the day.
Mate, when you saw that shot of them just going, zoof, and it was like a wave of tigers.
Just
like, what the hell are you doing?
Hey, look, I've got something to show you. I was getting ready for one of our future podcasts.
Oh, shit. How much does that cost you?
That is an original Spawn number 1.
Where from? eBay?
Well, no, I've had this.
Oh, is that your original one?
97.
Shit.
Yeah. So I didn't realise Spawn came out in 92, man.
Wait,
I didn't think it was that
If I can
early.
do it without breaking my computer, let me put that up there as well. There you go.
Oh, you've got the poster.
Hey, mine's bigger than yours. Hey.
I also picked this up as well. So this is the first 6 issues.
I've got that.
I had all of these. I had at least 10 trades of this. So like to a issue, I don't know, 80 or whatever.
Pretty much all.
And then, you know, when you're like 25 and you're like, I'm too cool for this shit.
I did it at boot sale, man. Got rid of
and just got rid of them.
Hundreds and hundreds
and
of
then,
pounds worth of comics.
And now I'm like, oh, I'm nostalgic for that rubbish cartoon about the Hellspawn. So
I wish, right, that I'd been I could get like a DeLorean, go back in time, and do you remember when everyone was like selling their NESs, all their comics, and you could just go around and pick up all these things for nothing.
Cherry pick it all, yeah.
Amazing.
It's like I remember going to boot sales as a kid, and they'd just have like Star Wars toys everywhere.
Yeah.
I remember getting the the brown land speeder and an Obi-Wan Kenobi figure for like not even £1 back in the day, and it's just like you'd clean up, man.
It's how I got all my ones, but like they're not worth anything because none of them have got any weapons or anything. But they're still cool, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? I'm not really bothered about that.
You should get a load of repros for them,
That's
like
an
just
idea,
kind of
actually.
like.
Ooh.
Like, I tell you what, Star Wars collectors fucking hate repros. They go completely nuts. Like, if you've got like why they care, I don't know. As long as you're not selling them off and saying it's original, kind of, it's the original accessories. Who gives a shit? Like a blaster.
To know how
that's
you
like
can tell with the accessories though.
I'll tell you one way you can tell. Apparently, if you get a cup of water, and you put the original ones in, they'll sink, whereas the repros will float.
And is it because they've got lead in, or what's that?
Maybe, yeah. It's the force. They've got actual force in them.
That force is heavy.
Leia's blaster will cost you £150 if you just for a little tiny plastic thing that's not even like a centimetre. What? And there's like Luke's lightsaber that fits inside C-3PO, that can cost you nearly £200 just for a piece of plastic, whereas you can get the repro one for like £2-3. It's ridiculous.
After we're finished today,
I might go into business and just make them.
Yeah, just wear them. Like, what's the word for it? Wear them.
Jewelry?
No, make them like age them. Just
distress
them. There we go. I'm distressed. I'm in distress today.
So how's sleeping with that arm? Like, do you ever roll over and you're like,
totally shit. Last night I was like, Nat's next to me, bless her, sleeping like an angel, not snoring at all. And I'm just like rolling and just like can't put my arm above my head, and it was just doing my tits. And then the dog was in and out of the bed because he likes to sleep in the covers. So he goes under him, but it's really hot at the moment. So then he gets back out and he stands on top of the covers looking at me going, I'm hot. And I'm going, I know, so am I. And like, I know the dog doesn't understand what I'm saying, but I feel like we've got like a mental connection with each other. And then he goes downstairs, goes and has a drink of water, goes, sits down, and then repeats the process of coming back upstairs, forgetting it was hot under the covers, and then getting back up and then and all the while, I ended up listening to like, I went hippie last night and put a Ram Dass podcast on.
Okay.
So Be Here Now. And like, it was really good. I think I was enlightened by 5 o'clock in the morning when I hadn't been able to sleep. But there we go. But yeah, no, I don't like to moan.
It was like when I had my ear operation, and like this ear was like 4 times the size of it normally be. It was that swollen. But every night I would roll on like this side, and then I'd just wake up in excruciating pain. And the only painkillers they gave me were ibuprofen, which, normally if you've got a headache, fine.
Yeah.
But if you've had your ear cut open, it's not really gonna do.
Nah, you needed some of these, but I'm on like 500 milligram of those cocodamol, and they said take 2 of those twice a day or something like that. And I took.
And call me in the morning.
I've just been off my head for the last like however many days. But it's all good. It's all gravy, baby.
Now I remember Caroline hurt her foot once, and she broke her foot, and she was on cocodamol, and I just remember it. She was like so spaced out. Like I've never seen her like it. It was quite scary, really.
I think I'm doing
What was I
quite
gonna
well
say?
with it, to be fair. But there we go.
Ah, bless you, mate. Yeah, it was Caroline's birthday
I also
yesterday,
got to
so we had
say, I did send her a happy birthday message.
You did. She was like Tom Baby. If anybody out there wants to know, Caroline calls Tom Baby. He's my Tom Baby, apparently.
That's why I shaved my head.
Who are you talking
Tom
to?
Baby.
Is it Tom
Tom
Baby?
Baby.
Yes, it's Tom.
No, it's what's the name you called me today?
Who,
yeah,
me?
you called me a woman. What's
Sinead O'Connor.
Just tell her it's Sinead O'Connor on the phone, and nothing compares to me.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, because it was a birthday yesterday, so it was a lockdown birthday. I surprised her with like a Zoom party, so had all her family and her friends like on our TV screen and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it was a nice time actually. And the cat came in, so we've got the cat on the Zoom as well. And so Caroline's chatting to her family, and I'm sitting on the settee, and I'm sitting there feeding the treats to the cat because like just to entertain myself. So he's like jumping up because he goes completely nuts over these treats.
This is turnip.
And and so then I just put them on the coffee table, and then I'm just watching the Zoom table, and all of a sudden I see the cat jump up and on the coffee table, and I'm watching him, and he's trying to get into the zip-locked kind of treat bag. He puts his head right in it, and then he falls off the coffee table with the bag on his head. Everybody on the Zoom is wetting themselves. Caroline can't see this, so they think they're laughing at her, but they're laughing because the cat is in the back, kind of backing up with this bag with treats falling over the place.
Zoom?
I should have done really. And then I was pissing myself, and I thought, well, and then realised I should probably take the bag off his head because he might suffocate. And then I pulled the bag off his head, and then he just stuck his head back in it again, and then he just kept backing off into the kitchen, shook his head, the bag went flying, and the bits went everywhere, and he was just mowing them all up everywhere. Little fucker.
So, what was I going to say? You made her a present as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I made because I bought her a load of stuff, but because of the post the way it is at the moment, nothing's turned up.
Oh man, I'm still waiting on my my posters for behind here as well. It sucks, doesn't it?
So we should, what we should do? We should do this on Zoom one day and record the Zoom because you can put anything in the background.
What do you mean?
So we can so you can have it so it just keys out whatever's behind you. Yeah.
Ah.
Like this guy has done it, so he's made a video. So it's like a video of his like normal backdrop, but he walks in himself and hands himself a cup of tea, and then he just picks up the cup of tea when he sees himself walking behind him. It's quite amazing, but quite creative. A lot of people have done lots of things while bored during lockdown.
Nice.
Yeah, so I made her an ET figure, and because I drew her a picture ages ago, and she loved it, so I thought, being unimaginative, I just thought, I'll just make that as a
I think that's a fantastic idea, man. Have you got a picture of the figure?
Yeah, I can put one up
Put
on
one up
here.
on here. I'll
pop one
have a
up.
look afterwards because I don't think it was.
Bing!
Bing.
If you ever listen to it on Apple Podcasts or whatever, which not many people do, to be honest. I think we've only had 60 downloads. Which, to be fair, thank you if you have watched or listened to it. But you're missing out on some quality video content of mine and Tom's heads.
What was I going to say? So, what did you eat? Did you do a meal or anything?
We got takeaway fish and chips because I haven't had a takeaway or anything like that in ages, so we just got fish and chips.
What did I'm going to admit something now, and it's quite filthy.
Go on,
I had a KFC. I ordered a KFC.
Oof.
I was just like, it's back open. And I promise you, I was like, the whole time this lockdown's been on and that place has been shut, I've been like, I feel so much better for not eating shit. And like the moment it opened, I was like, that's it. I'm getting one. And I really enjoyed it.
Thing is, though, like, ever since going to your house and when we recorded one time and we had that Jack's, I was like, how could you ever have a KFC again after that? Because that was incredible.
Oh man! As soon as we're allowed to, well, you're allowed to come over and be in the garden, aren't you? Or I'm allowed to come over. You've got a bigger garden.
Yeah, just come over to mine. Is Jack's a chain? Or
No,
I think
it's a one-off.
It's lovely though, man.
Really good.
It's fried chicken for anyone who doesn't know. Oh, we should try and do that. Well, I'll wear a Jack's chicken
Mate,
hat.
like, I think we should try and get sponsored by them. Just say to them, look, you don't even have to do anything. We'll promote it to the 50 people who listen to this, right? And that's like at least a customer you're going to get from this. All we want...
Well, as long as you live in the King's Heath area.
is a bucket, like, every time we podcast. That's it. And we'll just talk your product up. I reckon they go for it.
Yeah, man. We'll call it the Sticky Fingers podcast. And
I'm a member of that one, and... Oh, dear.
You watched any films or anything?
I have, but like my brain's struggling to remember anything at the moment. Go on, you go first, and I'll try and remember as I'm.
I watched E.T. last weekend.
It's aged well, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I always go through this phase with E.T. that I always think, like, when I watch it, I love it, and then I kind of give it 3 or 4 years without watching it. I'm like, do I really like E.T.? I don't think I like E.T. It's a bit sentimental. It's a bit naff.
I love it.
And then I watch it, and I'm just there crying my eyes out. As soon as Elliot and E.T. take off for the first time, and they go past the moon and all that, I'm just like, ah! It's so good. And, like, it just shows, like, Spielberg is a master. Like, I think...
Shit at comedy, though.
Yeah. Has he ever tried to do a comedy?
He tried to do a comedy. I was reading, and I actually watched a documentary on him the other day.
Amistad.
Is it Amistad? Where it...
No, that was a joke.
Jesus. Mate, I told you I'm away with the fairies. Amistad. Jesus, that's not...
Well, Catch Me If You Can was quite amusing, I thought.
Yeah, but he tried to do one with, the Blues Brothers, Belushi. I had to get there somehow.
Oh, 1947 or whatever it's called.
Have you seen it? It's not very good.
No, I've not seen it. I should watch it.
But I was watching a documentary, and the one of the actors in it was basically saying that Steven Spielberg was like, "Is this funny? I don't know if it's funny. Do you find this funny?" So just threw everyone's ideas in, and that's why it was shit. I mean, I think he's good at the drama, the other side of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a genius.
Well, there is a documentary called Spielberg, and they just go through his filmography, which is quite good. And there's another one called De Palma, where they just go through Brian De Palma's documentary filmography. It's really good. But yeah, Steven Spielberg, like everyone knows he's a great director, but I think people do take him for granted a bit. He is fantastic. And like the way he's able to work with the kids in that film and get the performances out of them that he gets is amazing. Like, it's so good. Although, you know the bit where he lets out the frogs in the school?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a girl that he keeps looking at who I think she ended up in Baywatch, and she was in Under Siege 1.
Right, okay.
I think Erica Eleanor or something like that. She looks about 5 years...
film, though, isn't she?
She looks like 5 years older than...
Yeah.
I never saw those. Is it BT adverts that came? There were some adverts that came out recently with the guy who plays Elliot. Thomas.
Yeah.
Henry Thomas.
Well, I'll send you a link to this actually, because this isn't ET, but it's a bit of a link to it, because originally, the guy in the Goonies was meant to be in ET, but his part was written out, and that's how he got into the Goonies.
Which one?
You know the one who's in a band now, the most famous one. He was
in the Goonies.
Yeah.
In a band.
Yeah, he plays music now. He's a bit annoying. He was also in the vampire film.
Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
He's not in a band. Have you heard Corey Feldman's music?
I thought he was in a band.
Well, no, he's got his own solo stuff.
He was, like this thing I was watching, he was talking about touring.
The Goonies Revisited thing.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I did.
No, man, honestly, go on Spotify and listen to Corey Feldman's music.
Honestly.
It's unlike anything I have ever heard
in a good way
in my life. Not necessarily, but you'll never forget listening to it. He's somehow managed to get Snoop Dogg and I think Fred Durst on some of the tracks and that. And I think he may have even kickstarted this album.
Fred Durst, you could I don't know.
But also on YouTube, type in Howard Stern and Corey Feldman, and there's a segment where Corey Feldman's on Howard Stern's show from like the 90s, and like it's so painful how much Corey Feldman wants to be Michael Jackson. It's It's unbelievable.
That rings a bell.
Did you on that documentary? He's not even in the country anymore. He's away because he did that documentary called The Two Coreys, and I think it might be on YouTube.
Okay.
But it's called The Rape of the Two Coreys, and it's where he exposes who raped him as a child or abused him as a child.
Okay,
Yeah.
And on that bombshell.
Bumshell.
I did that on purpose.
Hey, it's a good
Sorry. What was I going to say? In that that Zoom meetup, you've watched it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen the Back to the Future one as
The
well.
Back to the Future one, was that any good?
It's all right, but the problem is they each say one thing each, and then it's over because that flipping Josh Gad
He
just keeps blabbering over it.
I tell you what,
They're doing Lord of the Rings next week, aren't they? I think.
I'll send you a cartoon. No. Sorry, man. I'm absolutely tripping balls here as I'm speaking to you. Right, where was I going with this? Here we go. That's it. So on Disney Plus, have you got Disney Plus?
No, but
You
anyway.
should get it. They've got a thing called Prop Master.
Oh, I've heard about this.
You would absolutely love it. So I've watched so far. They've got one on The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is really good. So they go into all the stop motion puppets, go and have a look at where they've ended up and talk to a few of the animators. That's fantastic. They do Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And
nice.
like on each of these episodes, not only do they go and look at the props, etc., they find like the main prop from the film and they restore it.
Oh, okay, that sounds
really
cool.
interesting. But my favourite one I've watched, and I think you'd really love, and they actually speak to the doc, is Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh,
mate!
amazing.
So they speak to all the cast. I didn't realise who Jessica Rabbit was.
Oh, Kathleen
And
Turner.
man, it ruined it for me. I was just like,
Blue balls.
No, I can't. No, but yeah,
Not blue balls. What would be the turn? It'd be
castrated
from
balls. If I saw that one,
it'd be from like 60 to 0, I guess.
cut that bit out. That was rather sexist of me.
I don't cut anything out on
fuck.
these.
That's it.
Just apologise. And then be done with it.
What was I going to say? But yeah, really interesting. And they get him to try on. You remember what he wears? Because obviously, spoiler alert, he's a toon.
Oh, like the hat and stuff.
Yeah. So he puts the hat back on. It's so weird. He looks really cool. But yeah, I've been enjoying that. I've watched some of the films, but I can't. Oh, completely separate. But we did an episode on Midsummer. Nat's just ordered a dress. You know, the Midsummer style dress. Like the white.
What, the floral dress?
It's like, why have you brought that?
Has she ordered you a bear suit as well?
God. Imagine. Just come back. No, she's going to stuff me into Max.
Come back, you'll have no ankles. Stuff you'd say. Oh, I want to somehow Photoshop that. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I got the giggles now. Oh God, imagine. Like, try and Photoshop that, for Christ's sake, please. That would do me. Just wearing him as like a little hat.
Nobody would look. Do you remember the Bo Selector, the bear? It'd be like that, but with.
Yeah, that would be exactly it. I've been watching Killing Eve as well, which I think is really good.
I watched the first 2 series. It kind of got a bit silly for me by the end.
Yeah, it's
but,
very BBC.
Is it good?
But
Is the 3rd series any good?
it's got sillier, but I'm enjoying it. Like, it's something me and Nat watched together. I've restarted The Sopranos.
I mean, the girls, the performers in Killing Eve, they're great. Sandra Yo and I've forgotten the other girl, but they're really good.
Yeah. Because what was she in before? She was a doctor in something, wasn't she?
She was in Grey's Anatomy,
Oh,
I
God,
think.
that wasn't
But
good.
I know her from Sideways.
Oh, wow.
No, have you not seen Sideways?
Yeah, the one is Sideways, the one where they go to the wine places,
The vineyard. Yeah,
I love that film. Pure, like, because what's his name in it? Oh, I watched it really. I think I told you anyway.
It's Paul Giamatti and Thomas Hayden Church.
That's
I think,
it.
in that one.
Is Giamatti he's got the funny looking face?
Yeah,
I really
so.
love him.
He's the Rhino in Spider-Man as well.
I think he is one of my favourite actors.
Yeah, he's
I
great.
think he's awesome. He plays the same part in everything. He just plays him, but I think he's great.
Yeah, do you
Apart
know
from the
he was
rhino.
good? Do you remember? Did you ever see Bubba Hotep?
I love that film.
So there was talks of doing the sequel because I think there might be a book, or there was talks of it anyway, called Bubba Nosferatu.
Oh, nice.
Where Elvis goes up against Nosferatu, Dracula.
Right.
And so I don't know if the idea that it would have been Bruce Campbell again, and then it would have been Paul Giamatti as another character, because I think if I remember, the guy who plays, is it JFK in that? Ozzie Davis.
And the black guy.
I think he dies in. Yeah, I think he dies in Bubba Hotep.
Yeah.
But that film never got made. But they made another film instead called John Dies at the End, and it's the same director. It's Don Carcerelli or whatever. He did the Phantasm.
Don Corleone.
And he also Don Corleone, and it's got Paul Giamatti in it. But John Dies at the End is pretty good. You should check that out.
Okay, I'll check that out, man.
It was on Netflix at one point. I don't know if it's still on there.
I'll tell you what I have been looking for, and I've not managed to find anything. And I know I'm not going to find anything of this caliber. But things that are similar to Akira, Dominion Tank Police. I just want to watch some good anime. But like all the newer stuff doesn't hit the right notes with me.
Well, I'll tell you what I watched for my other podcast that I do with my friend Liam called Adjust Your Tracking. Available on all good
streaming platforms,
podcast apps. We watched a film called Perfect Blue, and I really enjoyed that.
Oh, is that CGI-ish?
No. It's hand drawn. It's really good. Check it out. It's from like '97.
Yeah.
And he also directed a film called Paprika. Paprika is amazing. You should watch that.
Okay.
And he also did Tokyo Godfathers. Paprika is very similar to Inception in the fact they go inside people's dreams and stuff.
Oh, sick. Oh, I could be into that.
Speaking of Inception, you should watch Christopher Nolan's new trailer. It's rad. It's for a film called Tenet. It's like it's a palindrome, so it's kind of the title's the same forward as it is backwards, like like ABBA. So Tenet.
That's just spelled shit
T-E-N-E-T.
both ways.
Yeah. But yeah, so watch the trailer, man. It's kind of very Inception-y, like, but instead of like having the going into dreams and stuff like that, it's kind of got like people going in normal speed in like normal time, and it's got people going backwards. So it's kind of got some forwards, backwards kind of thing going on. But it looks very Bondy. But I think a lot of his films look like Bond, like his Batman films were very Bondy.
Has he ever done a Bond?
No, but I think he spoke to them about it, but I just don't think they'd give him the freedom that he'd want. So, I mean, he's a guy who gets 200 million to make a film that's not based on anything else. Like, it's not
like a franchise,
it's a franchise, and no one else gets that luxury. He got like 150 million to make Inception. Like, he got 150 to make Interstellar or Dunkirk. People don't get those budgets unless you're making a Marvel film or a DC film or a Fast and the Furious. So fair play to him, man. Like,
and we've got to say, you've listed a few very good films there. Do you know what I mean? I thought Dunkirk was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, the sound on that was nuts.
Yeah, like it's not one to watch at home, is it? Because I was constantly like turning it up and down. But at the cinema, it was fucking amazing.
Well, I watched it on IMAX, and it's just so immersive because it was shot pretty much all on, at least 70mm or IMAX cameras, and it's just nuts.
He's known for that, doesn't he? Because of the beginning of The Dark Knight when...
Well, there's several scenes in The Dark Knight that's in... then Interstellar's got loads. Dark Knight Rises got loads. Like, there's the whole intro with the plane heist at the beginning of The Dark Knight.
I love
that. I think Inception might be all 70mm. I'm not too sure. I don't know. But I love the fact that he's a filmmaker who still works with...
film.
In film.
Yeah. And you can tell, can't you?
Oh, yeah, massively. And he does as much as he can practically as well, which is incredible. So if you watch Inception, a lot of that is filmed in camera, so, it's nuts. So I'm really interested to see how he's pulled off the effects in Tenet where things go backwards and forwards, because I reckon he's filmed some of that. He's filmed it all. I don't know, the way he's filmed it is... I can't wait to see the behind-the-scenes features for that, because it's going to be awesome.
I can imagine it will be, man.
He's very much into men in suits, though. So, like, all of his films just feature people in 5-piece suits.
Yeah.
With Hans Zimmer music blaring out. But I like that. I think it's cool. And it's the one thing I think it will kind of make it a bit more timeless.
Yeah, totally.
You know, if people are wearing modern clothes or whatever, that it kind of might date it a bit, but because they're all kind of wearing suits and stuff like that.
I mean, you could go the way where like people are wearing plaid shirts and like Levi's, because that works. I mean, I've had the same look for my whole life, and
oh, mate, I have not changed how I dress since I was 15. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad I did when I changed my look when I was 13. Let's admit it. But
when you.
But,
well, what's it? You always go through when you first get into like alternative music. So when we were like 13, 14, like the jeans I wore were ridiculous. I can't remember just walking in dog shit because my trousers was that baggy that they would just scrape along the floor, and you're like, ah, fuck.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like for me it was watching Chino Marino on TV. I was like, yeah, I want to dress like him. Yeah. So that's what I did. So I was like, I'm going to wear normal jeans and shirts and hoodies. And
see, I saw Gigi Allen and I just started smearing myself in shit. But
did you wear dog collars
I
and
totally wore
chaps?
dog collars. And just the one chap, right? No.
He's an interesting fellow.
Who's that? Gigi Allen?
Yeah.
Absolute twat. But I'm not. I always use the but. He wasn't a moron in some. There's a few songs that I really love, and I do. There's a place for him in this like pop culture world. You know what I mean? It's like, although I completely disagree with a lot of what he stood for.
Oh yeah, like I was watching a YouTube video and it was like of someone. It was at the time he was still alive, and he had people who'd follow, like pretty women and that, who'd follow him around and just be around. And
the
like
other
he had
thing is,
something
like,
that
a lot of people knew what they were walking into when they went to a Gigi Allen concert. Do you know what I mean? Like at that point,
well, they went there to. No one went there who like they went there. No, yeah, as you said, they went in there knowing what they were going to get.
Yeah.
And they wanted it.
Some shit flung and your hair pulled. Yeah, it's not.
But to be fair, like I've seen Dillinger Escape Plan and the flipping Singer. Like it was on the Reading. It was on the main stage of Reading. He was the first act on the first day. He pulled down his trousers and just shat on the floor. And he goes, "This is what I think about most of the acts on today, Bill."
And he'd be right.
Shit. And then put it in a bag, tied it up, and flung it in the crowd. And it kept going back and forth until he then opened up the bag and then just smeared it all over himself.
Good lad.
But I mean, I love the Dillinger Escape Plan. I think they're awesome. Like, their last album when they broke up was incredible.
I've been listening to who have I been listening to? Chris sent me over a band that I haven't listened to in ages, and they're called not La Quiet. It's the other one. Right there.
La Dispute.
Yeah, La Dispute.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And another one called Defeater, who are very screamo-y.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I've been listening to them too.
What have I been listening to? I've listened to a lot of Butthole Surfers.
Oh mate,
I just love that band.
Who Was in My Room Last Night is still one of my favourite songs of ever.
Oh, it's wicked. Yeah. They're a weird band, man. They're kind of a bit stoner rock, a bit geek rock, a
lot of acid.
A bit of psychedelic. They've also got some punk riffs in there. Bit of fun. They're kind of like
started
a
off
complete
as
mismatch of all.
An art rock band, like an art show basically.
You can get that from
like Gibby Haynes. Like, have you ever seen any interviews with him now?
No.
He's just fucked, but he's good fucked. You know, you get some people who are like acid casualties and you don't understand them. Like Gibby just laughs about pretty much everything. He's cool. I like him.
Well, have you ever seen the guy? Is it Daniel Johnson, The Devil and Daniel Johnson? Did you ever see that documentary?
I've met him.
And like, you've met him?
Yeah. Well, we met him for all of like 3 minutes. I went to all tomorrow's parties. Bless him.
Oh yeah.
He was having a bit of a shit day. And he wouldn't have a photograph, but he did say, like, bless him. Bless him. I'll say bless him again.
But like, yeah, because the guy from Butthole Surfers is in that documentary because he was the one who I think introduced him to acid.
Yeah.
And it was the time where he went completely nuts and went and walked in someone's random house and stuff like that. And he was like, I felt a bit guilty for that.
Man, when I saw Daniel Johnston, he played. I can't remember the song. It's one of my favourites, and he played that, and like I just fucking cried because the dude has got something. It's like, I know he's known for having his problems, but his songs are actually fucking amazing if you listen to them.
Well, they're all very similar. It's like his artwork. He always drew like
two-eyed.
Because he was very like autistic, wasn't he? And kind of
he's schizophrenic.
Was he schizophrenic as well?
well.
But like all his artwork were like felt tip pen superheroes and stuff like that, and obviously the artwork that he drew, like yeah, I guess so.
No,
but he did the artwork for like what was the T-shirt that Kurt Cobain wore?
Hey You, or what is it?
Yeah, that's it. So he did all that kind of stuff. But like when he recorded his albums, I think he did it in such an insane way that he'd have like, you know, those little cassette tape players that you'd press play and record on. He'd have loads of those all hanging everywhere, and he'd press them all at the same time. Or no, he would record each instrument, press play and record, then play another instrument while then pressing play on the other one, and he'd build up that wall of sound by playing it that way, give the tape to someone, and then someone else would be like, oh, I want the album as well. So he'd re-record it again. Someone else would be like, I want the album. And he'd re-record it again because that's how his mind processed and worked. You should, if you haven't seen that documentary, The Devil and Daniel Johnson, you should watch it. It's so good. And it's just sad that, you know, he obviously passed away and he had like a lot of problems.
There was a later a mini documentary on him, and he's got like a band who was playing with him. It was lovely, and he was there with his mum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think he was as happy as he could be. He was just creating.
So he got a lot of support around him then. So that's good.
Totally, man. Well, I might have to call it a day because I'm actually in agony now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
all right, cool.
What was I going to say? Yeah, so next time we're going to have James back on.
Well, no. In fact, we have a very special guest next week. Ooh. We have a filmmaker joining us, an animator, a director of a #1 box office, American box office movie.
Should we leave it there? Should we not say who?
No, we'll say it. Her name's Yvette Kaplan, and she directed alongside Mike Judge the Beavis and Butthead movie, and she also supervising director on 91 episodes of the Beavis and Butthead TV series. Wow. Directed like 20 of them. Also directed several episodes of King of the Hill. Worked on countless other TV shows like Doug and some major Hollywood films as well. So it's going to be awesome to speak to her. So I'm looking forward to that. Then we're going to have James on the week after.
Nice. Talking
about the second part of Kevin Smith. And then we're going to do Spawn. So that's the schedule, I think. And also Tom's going to somehow fit into his bathtub video. That's like the sister podcast to my collection.
Wigs, which is cribs, but Waggy's cribs. Wigs.
I like it. All right, okay. So don't forget you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter, on Instagram. Facebook as well. Join in the conversation, join the club, have some fun, and watch the video I put up the other day, today, on my stupid toy collection. And we'll see you next week. See you later, Tom.
See you, Ollie.
All right, bye.
Sweet, man.